so beautiful. It's great to be here. Great to be live. Much later than usual because I was in the Heartfield with 4 fantastic people creating, and it was amazing. We had such a good time. What can I say? It's like that every month. I know I say that every month, but it really is very cool. So now I get to be outside here on this beautiful day, which I'm going to show you in a minute, and share all of that vibe. Hi there. Great to see you, love. Great to see you, Linda. Let's look at the day. It is beautiful. And there is a comparatively rare sight, an aeroplane going across the sky. It's probably something local, seeing as the only people flying from overseas here are people coming home. And this is the day. It's a very beautiful day. It is just lovely. Sun in my eye, sun in your eye now. Look at that bright sun, no kidding. And I took a picture of the big sky when I was at the top of the hill. You can just see a little bit of it there. And, well, you know, the sky is blue. What can I say? The sky is blue. I just said it. And I don't get tired of this, even though it's all kind of scruffy and autumnal, or, you know, it's fall, to use the word that is used in the States. Look at this. Look at this beautiful grass just waving in the wind. Hello, 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 everyone who's coming on. It's great to see you. It's a beautiful breeze. Hi, Kirsty. It's lovely to catch you here at this unusual time. I get to do that because I've been in the Heartfield this morning creating, and it was awesome. And I just love how grass waves in the wind. And let's take a look at some of these anemone flowers. You can see they're a bit beaten up because we had some strong weather here a little while ago, but they're still beautiful. Sapphire, great to see you. And here's a few more. They're tough. They're a bit beaten up, but they're beautiful all the same. So there we go. And yeah, there's a few spuds there and some of that grass I need to pull out. And oh look, early Corphi flowers. This one's called Dragon's Gold because it's kind of like a heap of gold, and it flowers. It's supposed to flower in the winter, but whatever. There it is, all lush and green. And these flowers that it makes. And yeah, if you're thinking it looks a bit like a pea, it is in the legume family. It's got those pea-like leaves and these cute little flowers. There you go, you can see inside now. So, a little bit more of the view from up here. The sky's really beautiful with all these big clouds that are just long. Go from one side of the sky to the other. All right. Turn the camera around and get the clock, which I put down. So today, I can't even recall, it's like last year. Yesterday, one of you made a comment which made me think about facing brick walls and not being able to see your way through them for looking. And I thought we'd just talk about that. Because, well, it happens, doesn't it? It happens. You want to make a change in your life, and we're all in this space because we're after transformation, and it's human to want more, right? It is just human to want more. Nothing wrong with that. And there is one state of consciousness, which where we are, and there's another state of consciousness, which is where we want to be. And by the way, a state of consciousness is not something woo-woo and new agey and stuff. A state of consciousness is like lying in bed, that's one state of consciousness, and getting up and having a drink of water in the morning, that is another state of consciousness. It's simply from here to there. And there is a gap, right, between space and time, what I have to do with my body, maybe how I think and feel. From one place to another, from one state of being to another, from being hungry to being fed, from being happy to being sad, from being sad to being happy. That is what I mean when I say you change you're going from one state of consciousness to another. So it doesn't matter whether it seems like a small thing or a big thing. Always we're about shifting our consciousness. Your physical, emotional, mental, whatever it is, biological consciousness state of being. And sometimes it's really easy to do. If you wake up in the morning and you want a glass of water and you've got water on tap in a glass, it's no problem. For somebody else who's living in a very different circumstance, that could be a state of consciousness being able to stand up, go to running water and have a glass that's clean and nobody's shooting at you and nobody's yelling at you or anything, that might be a state of consciousness that's next to near impossible for them. So just to expand what I mean by these words that we so happily toss off, state of consciousness, right? It's not necessarily that you've been meditating for 2 hours and your brain's in ecstasy and you feel fantastic. Nesrine! Although that's really cool too. It's simply a state of consciousness, and that those words for me encompass anything. So, like I say, for some, a particular change of state of consciousness from point A to point B is really easy, and for another person that same thing can be very hard. It can look like a single step, or it can look like climbing a mountain, or it can feel like climbing a mountain. And the ones I want to talk about today are the ones where it's just like, I've tried this for so long. I can't even imagine myself somewhere else. I don't know what it feels like. You're saying to me, Maddie, you got to know how you want to feel on the other side of that challenge. I can't imagine that. It's just a brick bloody wall, and all I can see is the brick wall. It's just, I can't see past this, you know. What do you do, right? How do you do that? How do you get out of that bind where you're just you and you can't stop being you even though you really want to? How do you do that? And so I'm thinking, how do I do that? Because I don't really want to speak from theory. I want to speak from my own practical experience. Well, you have to start to imagine. Margarita, it's lovely to see you. Yay! Somehow or other, we have to find a way to let something new in. And I'm mindful, because of something we just experienced together in the Heartfield today, I'm mindful actually that when you're in a really stressed state, and I know I talked about this yesterday, and I'm going to talk about it again, because it's important, because we sort of beat ourselves up, because we can't access anything new. We can't even imagine a better life or a better situation or whatever it is. You know, it's like, how does it feel to have what you... I don't know. I'm so busy being stressed. I'm so busy being, you know, dealing with life or trying to control things or whatever it is. And we beat ourselves up because we can't figure it out. But what you don't realise is that when you are in that state of effectively running from a leopard that's chasing you, it's impossible. It's literally impossible to let something new into your life. You can't do it. Because if you're running from danger, really, if you are feeling that shot of adrenaline because, you know, you're walking down a dark street and you hear noises that make you think, oh, someone's coming up behind me, someone wants to hurt me. And your body gears up, right, to run away from that threat that you have perceived. Real or imagined doesn't matter now. Your body is saying, I feel threatened. We're going to have a shot of adrenaline. And you want to run, or you want to fight, or you want to freeze and hide. That's it. That's all you can do. And biologically, when you're in that state, what happens with that chemical signal of the adrenaline is blood gets directed away from your digestive organs, like digestion shuts down. You know that feeling when your gut starts to twist because you just got really scared? That's your digestion shutting down. All the blood supply is going away from your digestion in that moment. And by the way, that's where all your immunity lives. Most of the immunity in the body, a good chunk of it, is in your gut. So when you're stressed, there's no blood supply to your gut, so your immunity gets, that's part of the immune suppression that happens when you're stressed all the time. So the blood is getting directed to the peripheral systems, arms and legs, because we might need those to fight or run or freeze. And in the brain, the blood flow gets taken out of the frontal lobe where we think, Carmina, Julian, great to see you. Sarah, suddenly Facebook's telling me who's on. It's great to see you gorgeous people. The blood flow in the brain goes away from the frontal lobe. And the frontal lobe is where we do our thinking and reasoning and creating. That's where we create. It's with frontal lobe. When you're in stress, the blood flow, guess where it goes? It goes to the back of the brain. And the back of the brain is the reptilian brain. It's the autonomic, least conscious, it's the animal brain, which is about survival. Period. It's about fighting or running or fleeing or freezing. That's it. So when you are in that stress state, you cannot create. It is not possible because the brain is ready to fight or run away or freeze. Those are your choices. So you've got to realise that if you're staring at a brick wall and you're feeling stressed about it, you're simply not able to get calm, to open your heart, to open your awareness, to be open to possibility. You just can't let it in. It's not possible. Neurologically, it's not going to happen. And we beat ourselves up because we get stressed about being stressed, and we get upset because I'm this creative being and I've manifested this in my life and I want to be able to manifest something else, and we beat ourselves up because we just can't. And it's like, what am I doing wrong? When you're not doing anything wrong, it's just you're stuck in survival mode, and when you're stuck in survival mode, you can't create. Here's another thing I say a lot, but I say it a lot because it's so real to me, and so, oh my God, whatever state of being you're in, like if you are happy, you tend to think more happy thoughts, don't you? And you feel good, and then you feel happier, and then you think more happy thoughts, and then you feel good, and then and it builds on itself. And if you're feeling fearful, then your body feels bad, you feel that fearful thing, and then you think more fearful thoughts, you perceive threats all around you, and then you feel more afraid, and then you see more threats and more thoughts fire up in your head about how scary everything is. So the state builds on itself and it feeds itself. And the point being that if you think that fearful thought and then you have the fearful feeling and you think more fearful thoughts, it's not very long at all before the only information that can make it into your awareness is about fear. There could be 10 fabulous, wonderful ways to feel better, to improve the situation, to get the hell out of there, and you won't even see them. You won't hear them. And somebody can be waving it in your face and punching you in the shoulder with it, and you still won't receive that information because you just can't. Because your brain is tuned to fear. Your brain is tuned to, I need to control this, or whatever it is, or I need to fight it. And that's all you can see. It's all you can hear. It's all you can sense. It's only information can get in is what's equal to your emotional state. So, that's another reason not to beat yourself up. If you're in a bad situation, you can't suddenly magically change it. Realise that's part of the reason why. Okay, I've raved enough about that. I've just remembered what the point of this post is. That's the reason why it's so difficult to change, and that's the reason why we get stuck in these things. But part of the reason why we get stuck in these things, and something that I can actually say to you that I know is true and which is useful when you're right in the thick of it and your brain is telling you, you are going to die. Freak out now. Linda! It's lovely to have you on the bridge. It really is. Now your comments just come through. We get in that state and we think the answer is out there. We feel separated from possibility. We feel separated from the solutions. Yeah, the only thing you can manifest is survival because you were in survival mode for sure. We feel so separate from anything that's good when we're in stress, when we're in survival, when we're in fear. The only thing that can get in is more fear, right? More scariness. Hi, Vicky! And so we think that something has to come from outside us for us to feel better, or for the solution to resolve itself. Well, I need to get a pay rise, or that bad person needs to go away, or I need to move house, or I need to change my partner, or whatever it is. And we think that there is something outside us that has to change. Or when there's an insoluble problem and you think, oh God, I can't figure this out. And it's like the answer is there somewhere, but I don't know what it is and I can't access it, right? We feel so separate from the things that we desire. Bernice, lovely to see you. And that's the lie. What happens if you start to look at your impossible situation, which is really just a great opportunity, but it looks impossible, right? We are surrounded at the moment by fabulous opportunities that are just disguised as impossible problems. What if you allow that there's more to you than you know, and there's more available to you than you can possibly imagine, and whatever the problem is that you're facing, within you right now, there is somehow an answer. And it's not that there isn't an answer. See, what if there is an answer, and the havingness or the beingness or the realness of the answer is not the question? What if the question is you being able to access that and connect with it? And there's got to be a way to do that, right? But if you get rid of the idea that this is an unsolvable problem and the answer is somewhere away from you, that you can't get hold of it, that it's out of your reach, if you actually just surrender that as a lie, because it really isn't true. It really isn't true. I've been doing this. I've been walking this journey. I've been on this path. I've watched enough people tell their stories, and I've even coached enough people now to know that every time you think there's a dead end and you can't see a way forward, usually when the person lets go and says, okay, I can't work it out, sometimes immediately, sometimes a lot later, sometimes they have to rest with the fact that they don't have an answer. But the answer always arrives. And it's always more perfect and frequently very unexpected. It's more perfect than can be imagined, and it's completely out of the blue sometimes. And you would never have guessed what it was going to look like. And you look back on that and you think, well, I was looking, here's a brick wall, and I was looking for a gate, and it was wrought iron and it had a latch and it was a key and it was going to look like this. But actually, it turned out that around the corner there was, some kind of force field that I just like a numbered platform 9 3/4. You don't know it until you get there, and you have to have a little bit of faith, but it helps because other people are doing it before you. Sasha, great to see you. And all those things exist, by the way, and they come to us when we start to embrace our crazy, unknown, scary, I can't work this out experience from the point of view that the answer is here. The answer is here. I may not be able to see it. But maybe if I stop freaking out because I can't see it and stand in the space that says, the answer is here. So let me start to calm myself down, and this bit's coming, because nothing new can get to you, right, while you're so stressed out. You have to do something to manage your internal state. Whatever it is, you got to do it. You got to calm down. You got to go for a long walk if that's you. You got to meditate if that's you. You got to listen to music and dance hard until you can collapse on the floor or the couch or somewhere and feel all exhausted and worn out that way. Whatever you have to do, you've got to find a way to calm yourself down enough to be able to connect. And that's, what does that connecting mean? I'm just going to be really basic now. I'm not going to talk about the kind of connection I experience now. I'm going to talk about that sense of, maybe it's just letting go. Maybe it's just saying, hey, well, I don't know. But right now, I can hear the crickets, and that's my favourite sound. I can hear the neighbour's spa. It's this quiet rumble in the background, comes and goes, and the sky's beautiful. And there's a lovely breeze. And that was the sort of thing I used to do before I understood about how to make my brain coherent and how to actually get into my own operating system and get myself right out of stress mode into something much more productive. I used to do this. I used to come out here and just pay attention to the beautiful sensations. And if it was raining, it wasn't nice, well, I'd do something else. But you notice that the key thing about that is I actually, consciously or unconsciously, and I wasn't always conscious about it, was making a choice about where I was putting my attention. Because where you put your attention is where you put your energy. And whatever you put your energy into is going to grow. So if you keep putting your attention upon the fact that there's a brick wall in front of you, and even if there's a gate but you can't open it, that's what's going to continue to be real and true for you. And to stop doing that, you have to break the stress state. You have to break the stress response. You've got to stop being the headless chicken. You've got to stop being the gazelle that's being chased by the lion, and find a different space in yourself where perhaps you can just relax and say, oh, whatever, to hell with it. Letting go is really big. It doesn't actually mean that I don't care or that I'm not going to take action. But it does mean, exactly, it just come up, Linda, that I'm choosing to rest in the now. And anybody who practices mindfulness will say, yeah, that's mindfulness, that's what I do. Yeah, it is. And it's just a beautiful thing that you were saying to us before in the Heartfield, Julian, about and I'll apply it to mindfulness, but it applies to any kind of meditation, that you let your awareness be like a feather that's floating in the air, and you touch whatever you pay attention to with that kind of gentleness. Try that now. You can try that with, you're listening to me, right? Let your awareness of what I'm saying be like the lightest touch of a feather. Doesn't it change how you feel? It's really quick. I mean, I'm used to changing my brain state, but, what you're standing on, what you're sitting on, lightly touch that awareness with your mind and just let it go, and then look at something else out your window, or something beautiful on your wall, or a pretty piece of jewelry that you're wearing, or a piece of clothing that you like the feel of. Lightly touch. And it doesn't take much to think, oh, this is different. And it might just be, oh, this is different. You might never have thought about it this way before. I think this is a beautiful way of playing with awareness. And what it does is it gets you to back away from the brick wall. And maybe you start walking along the brick wall, and maybe, your foot hits a rock and you stumble, and your shoulder hits the wall, and before you know it, you've gone through, and you're on the other side looking at the train to Hogwarts. I'm kind of trying to explain things that are difficult to explain, but I'm fairly sure I'm mostly making sense. The point being that we have to let go of the stress somehow. And if you can give yourself this thought to think about, there is an answer. And it's my job to get soft enough and open my heart, let go, calm down, whatever I have to do, to be able to begin to at least smell it. Or think about how it feels when that has arrived. And that's a really weird thing, because if you're so used to thinking it's impossible, I can't do this, I'm scared about it, I'm worried about it, the question of how would it feel when you're through that wall and on the other side of it can be a really strange thing. It's like, what do you mean? It's not possible for me to get on the other side of the wall. What are you talking about? I don't want to think about how it feels over there. I've got all these problems to deal with now. And the brick wall does dissolve. It does dissolve when you stop putting your attention on it. You're so right, Julian. It simply ceases to be. And then one day, you're walking through your three-dimensional life, having practiced letting go of the brick wall enough that you're no longer constantly making it so real inside yourself that it just blocks you from everything because you're so stressed about it. And you sort of know, oh, hang on a minute. I didn't see that before. I wonder if I should talk to that person about that, or I wonder if I should read this book, or, something new gets into your awareness and you just do something different. And suddenly the wall moves, or it dissolves, vanishes, and somehow you're just in a different place. And you didn't force it, you didn't coerce it, you just let go. Because you came into this awareness that, oh, there is an answer in me, and I can't fight and force my way into it, I gotta let go. The brick wall dissolves when you stop creating it. Yeah, it does. It does. And I know I'm out of time. I have created myself a time warp, and time has vanished. So I hope this makes practical, useful sense. It's a really simple thing, but like I said recently, simple doesn't generally mean easy. It just means simple. The how-to is you've got to change your brain state. You've got to get out of stress and calm down, centre, relax, do whatever you need to do that. Get your attention off the brick wall and start putting it on what's on the other side of it. And the next time you look, it might not be there. Or it might have moved. Or a brick might have fallen out or something. Okay. We'll see where this picks up tomorrow. So much love. Thank you so much for joining me. That's new and unusual time that we do once a month. Big love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.